few years ago, if I told you your next camera would house a 100 megapixel sensor, 8K video, stunning slow motion, night modes that could see in the dark, and come standard with 3 wide aperture lenses and a battery that would last you all day, you might just think I was crazy. And if I told you that exact same camera would fit in your pocket, well, that might just get your attention. All right, so I know you guys have seen them. There are so many videos with someone taking a new phone and comparing it to crazy awesome cameras like this. And honestly, those phone results look pretty dang good, sometimes even better than these supposedly crazy awesome cameras. So what's going on with this? I want to do something a little bit different with this, and I'm gonna rant a little bit. These have been getting better every year. Meanwhile, these full frame and APS-C and high sensor cameras with all of this technology in them seem to be remaining pretty static when it comes to image quality. In fact, the few cameras that have gotten brand new sensors in the last few years were honestly just playing catch up. They were a little bit behind before, and now they're getting a little bit better. But for the most part, every camera up here is using a sensor design and technology that has been around for quite a few years. So I had a buddy of mine call me up and he's like, what's the best camera for under $500? He's not a photographer. And I told him probably his phone. However, there are countless $500 cameras, this is one of them, that I would honestly shoot with over my phone. But here is why you cannot just walk into a store, pick up this camera, take a few images, and expect them to look better than this phone. So if you want to be able to do that, you want to be able to make these cameras look better than your phone, this is how you do it. So the first reason that your camera phone is probably better quality than a lot of these is going to be the lens. And this is actually the only hardware reason that your phones are going to be better. But break this down for a minute. So the lenses on your camera, most new camera phones out there come with at least 2 to 3 wide aperture prime lenses on them. Meanwhile, most cameras on the market come with these really crappy kit zoom lenses that do not have the wider apertures. So for example, my phone, the S21 Ultra, has a 24mm f1.8 lens and a 70mm f2.4 lens. Meanwhile, my kit lens right here is 3.5 at the widest 24 and goes up to 5.6. A lot of lenses even go to 6.3 at their 70mm at the telephoto distance. Now, if you don't know what those numbers mean, here's what it means. Your phone is actually getting 2 to 3 times more light than any of these cameras on here, and the reason is that lens. So if you want to get better results on these cameras, definitely look at upgrading your lenses from these cheap kit lenses on here. You are going to need wider apertures to get in more light to the camera, and they also will have better quality. So f2.8 zoom lenses, f1.8 prime lenses, 35 1.8 is a great place to start, but there are a whole lot of different lenses. Actually, I have a lens video I'll link to here going over the different lenses and focal lengths and how they can help. That should help you out if you're somebody who's newer to this. But upgrading your lens is going to be a huge improvement to making these cameras look even better. Now, because just about all of the new features that we're going to talk about are going to be software based, there is a huge, massive exception that you do need to know about. But real quick, I just want to jump in and give a thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. I actually just used some brand new features that they came out with a couple months ago and refreshed my site a little bit. So if you haven't checked them out in a little while, guys, or you do need a refresh on your site, definitely go check out squarespace.com. So obviously Squarespace makes it crazy easy to build a new site with templates, customizable blocks for adding in new content, and even the ability to search through thousands of images to help you get started. And there are just some insane tools for photographers and videographers, from custom galleries that allow you to password protect them for sharing privately with clients, and the ability to add in e-commerce to be able to sell your products online as well. I was able to upload my camera guide so I could sell them straight through my site in just a matter of minutes. There's also a full scheduling system, so you can actually have your clients sign up directly for their sessions online. So go ahead and check them out, guys. It's completely free to get started. Just use my coupon code LearningCameras when you build something awesome, and you can go live with that site today. So that one big exception is going to be with video, and this is basically because there's only so much you can do with software. Now, this is changing as I speak. So for example, there are a lot of phones now that are capable of HDR video, which is giving them more more dynamic range and making it look a little bit more like these cameras right here or some crazy awesome cameras. But as soon as you start taking these in low light, there's just only so much trickery that you can do. So for most cases, I would say that a dedicated camera is still better for video. If you guys want some suggestions or anything like that, definitely hit me up in the comments below. But for the most part, video on an actual camera is still going to be better than your phone. So the next reason your phone is better is scene recognition. Your phone is smart. It is able to identify landscapes, portraits, basically any type of shooting scenario. Your phone knows exactly what it's taking a picture of. And these cameras are plain dumb. They usually know absolutely nothing about what you're typically trying to shoot. Some of them do have some modes that you can pop into and say, hey, I'm taking a portrait. But honestly, what it changes to make those look better is extremely limited. They don't do any type of editing on there or masking. Your phone, for example, if you tell it you want to take a portrait, it is blurring backgrounds on there. It is changing apertures. It is changing ISOs. It is actually editing and doing masking and skin softening and all kinds of things right onto your photo. So if you want these cameras to look absolutely more amazing, you need to learn your settings, ISO, aperture, your lenses. Make these cameras look better and work better for whatever you're shooting. The next thing you need to know is editing. You need to be able to do masking. You need to be able to change your exposure on skies and skin softening and all these kinds of things that your phone is doing instantly because it is recognizing exactly what you're shooting. Now, probably the craziest trick your phone is actually doing is multiple images. Did you know that when you hit the shutter button on your phone, it is not taking one image? It is usually taking at least 5, sometimes as many as 13 images. It is taking them at different exposures, at different lighting, sometimes black and white, and it is combining all of these images instantly to produce one super image that looks like it was not shot on the phone, because now that it has the exposure from the highlights and exposure from the shadows, it is getting more dynamic range. It has a black and white image in order to get more detailed. It has the colors that it's using in different images, and it is combining all of these into one. This is the thing that has made the phone absolutely revolutionary in quality, and it is the one thing that none of these cameras can do. Some of them have like an auto HDR, but honestly, because the camera is so dumb, when it puts them together, it doesn't really do that great of a job anyway. So this is not something that I would usually use. The best thing to do here is just make sure that you have a camera with a good sensor that can shoot some amazing image quality, and then the next step is really where we can make things better. So this next one is going to be processing. Have you ever looked at a raw image captured from your camera phone? It actually looks horrible. They usually lack dynamic range, they lack detail, they're noisy as crap, they have distortion and all kinds of lens artifacts on them. They just don't look good. However, the finished JPEG image from your phone fixes all of this. There is so much that is being done in an instant with your phone that is not being done on any of these cameras. So you pick up one of these cameras, shoot in RAW, which you need to be shooting in RAW in order to maximize quality. Compare that image with a finished JPEG image from your camera, and it is not going to look good for your camera right there. However, bring that raw file into your computer with an experienced editor, and the sky is the limit to what you can do. You can edit these files so much more than your average phone camera. They have so much more room to push things in post. Because each pixel is larger thanks to these larger sensors on there, you just have better image quality all around. And as a result, when you go to print these or expand these pixels, when you print high resolution or larger photos, they do look way better. But obviously, in order to do that, we have to have some experience with editing. So plan on learning to edit your photos properly. Shoot in RAW, bring that into your editor, edit those photos. And if you don't know how, or you're really struggling to learn editing, there is a program called Luminar AI. It is a couple click program that can really maximize your photos on there and produce some amazing results. It works very similarly to how you would do things on your phone. So it is a great software tool if you don't know editing that well. I'd highly recommend it. So I'll leave a link below in case you want to check it out. But yes, if you are doing some editing on there and you don't really know exactly what you're doing and haven't learned yet, Luminar AI is probably going to be my first choice. So if you guys are like my buddy and you want to know the best camera that you can get that's going to beat your phone, just know that you can't just walk into a store, pick up these cameras, shoot with them, and expect the image quality to look amazing. You're going to need to learn your settings. You're going to need to learn your lenses and maybe even pick up some new ones. You're going to need to learn your editing or pick up some programs and get some help in ways that will make a difference for your photos. Now, I really do want to hear from you guys. If you have any videos that you want to suggest, let me know. It's been kind of horrible not being able to do any meetups, not being able to go to these photo conferences and see you guys. So really missing out on that. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Feel free to hit me up in the description below. Love to know some ideas that you guys have, what you want to see going forward. So hope you guys are doing amazing. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon in a new video.